The expanded Suzuki Triangle, nurturing the student within the community.
I found this quote in a gardening book. When working with students, we often use the idea of planting a seed as a metaphor for student growth. So how do students grow into learning? One way is to follow the same process as learning language, also known as the mother tongue method.
An infant cannot speak when it is born, yet all children do learn to communicate. We are not surprised by this. The expectation is that this is a natural process. But what is this process?
A seed is planted in the soil. The soil is enriched with compost and fertilizer to nurture growth of the seed. Water is provided or the seed will not germinate.
An infant is raised in an environment where people are constantly using language to speak and communicate. Through listening and observation, he begins to recognize patterns of meaning. The child begins to imitate the sounds he recognizes. These first attempts may not be very accurate, such as mama for mother or wawa for water. But these first attempts are praised by the parents, and the child is urged to say it again. We do not correct an infant to say mother instead of mama. We are confident that the child will build skill through repetition, and mother will be the word of choice soon enough.
When the seed sprouts, we don't cut off the first small leaf and hope for a bigger one. We allow the first leaf to grow and apply more water and fertilizer, confident that the next few leaves will be more robust.
We also do not expect an infant to begin reading immediately. Once a child has a vocabulary of several hundred words, can form sentences and understand stories, then she begins to notice that the symbols in the storybook relate to the language sounds she hears, and we guide the child to greater understanding by beginning with simple material.
Shinichi Suzuki applied this very natural model of language learning to the study of music. He called it the mother tongue method, but it quickly became known as the Suzuki method, as he achieved great success using it with his students. He created a language immersion program, but the language was music. Children listened to recordings at home and observed other students and parents playing the instrument in lessons and classes. The observations and listening fostered a desire to imitate what the student was seeing and hearing. The teacher guided the student towards increased accuracy, giving the parent clear guidelines for how to practice at home. Each small success was nurtured and praised, and repetition for mastery was encouraged through games until the student began to take ownership of the process himself. Reading was introduced when the student had a good understanding of the vocabulary of music, so the symbols related to a sound that the student already knew from experience.
Teachers who use the Suzuki method will also often refer to the Suzuki Triangle. This is a model of the relationship between the three participants in this learning process: the parent, the teacher, and the child.
The parent provides the environment where the child can learn and grow. The parent plays recordings, takes the child to lessons and classes, and practices with the child at home. The teacher provides the lesson. The teacher guides the student towards increased mastery, provides a model to imitate, and also teaches the parent, so the parent can have experience to help the child. This also sets up an opportunity for the child to listen and observe his strongest role model, his own parent, demonstrate the importance of learning and practice. And the child listens to the recordings and practices. Let's look at each corner of the Suzuki Triangle a little more closely.
For the first years, the child will practice regularly with the parent. The eventual goal is for the child to learn how to practice effectively on their own. The teacher provides an individual lesson and a group lesson. And the parent provides the environment in the home and the social environment in a community that expands as the child grows and matures.
The teacher provides an individual lesson and a group lesson. The parent provides the environment at home and in the community. The group lesson is where the music that the child is learning through the mother tongue method is used as a language of communication. The group lesson is the stepping stone into the greater musical community. In the Suzuki method, if the student is part of a large program, he will have an opportunity to learn from other teachers and students in the local group classes. At the regional level, we have summer institutes, where students and teachers gather from all over the country to learn from each other.
Institute's really fun. I've been going to institutes for the past 10 years, and still every time I go, it's really great. Because you get to study with other teachers from all over different places in like North America and meet other students, also from different places in North America.
Internationally, the Suzuki Association of the Americas Conference brings students and teachers together from North and South America, and the International Suzuki Association Conference invites teachers and students from all over the world.
The conference is amazing. I've been 3 times, and each time I've had so much fun. It's really international. I've studied with a teacher from Brazil and performed with kids from Peru in Minneapolis.
Making music as a group, whether on the local, regional, or international level, in rehearsal or performance, is an opportunity to realize the deep emotional and communicative power of music. A group event includes both audience and performers, and can be professional or amateur, can involve soloists, chamber groups, large ensembles, or orchestras. But all group events create a community, or, as in the Rilke quote we started with, circumstances favorable to the creation of beauty, and music is beautiful.
So, to get back to the Suzuki Triangle, both parent and teacher work with the child individually and as part of a larger community. Just as the teacher spends considerable time and effort behind the scenes to organize group classes and performances, so does the parent spend time and effort to volunteer their support of these activities as part of developing an expanded musical environment in which the child can grow.
If we are successful in creating an expanded and enriched environment that nurtures the child's musical development, the child will grow into an independent person who is fluent in the language of music, thanks to the Suzuki, or mother tongue, method.